need you, girl. Yeah, hope you don't think I need you, girl. But if we together, you complete my world. Never let the swan see your pearls. Shit so sick, you might need to earn. You wanna play, but I need a girl. Yeah. And traveling on earth got you in a maze. Looking at the sun got you in a daze. Uriel take apples and make apple cider. Uriel take lemons and make lemonade. Same situation, just a different day. Way too hot, I ain't trying to chill. All you motherfuckers talking good ass game, but I can really tell that you lying for real. Look the pound to catch a thrill, push the higher the hill. Because I ain't really trying to die in the field. You wanna tell me something, but you hide in the field. You got a nigga looking back like you childish as hell. Because no, I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. Place, that's right. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. You know, for sure. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. You know, for sure. I can't lie to you, bitch. All you gotta do is just call on the phone. But I can see it now that you hardly at home. You lie about every little goddamn thing. You even lie about the damn drawers you had on. Think we need to separate like Tommy and Ghost. I'm feeling like Clyde when body got ghost. You really take a look at the universe. You looking at a whole bunch of stars in a hole. Why you lie? You ain't even gon' have my back. Girl, can't tell me why you act like that. I smoke back to back, no cataracts. I'm about to tap that ass, that's a matter of fact. No Chipotle, girl, but that's a rap. Girl, little pussy gon' snap right back. Sticking with the stick, right, tat tat tat. And you ain't know that I can hit it from the back like that. Together, no go-tos. You gassed up, but you still got no juice. Archangel Uriel just spoke true. My spirit bomber just like Goku's. Supreme Kai. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. Place, that's right. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. You know, for sure. I can't lie to you, bitch. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. I can't even lie, I ain't gon' hold you. You know, for sure. I can't lie to you, bitch.
Welcome to your Venus and Leo 2024 Transit Talk. I am the Peace Dealer. This is your host. And St. Michael, the Peace Dealer. And we're going to break down this Venus transit together. This is a very interesting pivot moving forward. We've cleared the first quarter of shenaniganery. And if you think that the first few months of this year were wild, we're interesting, we're crazy, you might be led to believe that compared to the beginning of the year, you know, this next few months weren't necessarily as crazy, which I just can't. I feel like every month this year has been a good indicator of the rest of this decade. But yes, okay. Brace for impending psyops. All right. It's only natural. It's the summer before election. So someone has to get to work. But other than that, I sound like a stupid theorist right now. This is very cool because we're getting ready to pivot very hard. We're in the summer season. We are in the dawn of the second quarter. All right. So like before last week, before the new moon in Cancer, we were all like filling in the stadium. Like we were all getting in the room. We had the moon in Taurus, Aquarius signature. That was everyone getting in the room ready for the second quarter of a game to start. You know, if there was like concessions. And now with that new moon, we've activated the second quarter. So we're in a week into the second quarter. If we want to go through this timing, it doesn't have to be that. So you could say the second quarter officially started summer solstice, but it's just a fun way to like incorporate the lunar cycles into these. So with that being said, when I'm saying we're pivoting, I want you to see how Mercury and Venus are leading the zodiac. Sometimes it's Mars. Mars is going to retrograde in Virgo. If not Cancer, no, Mars is going to retrograde in Cancer and then Virgo. But yeah, Mercury's going to get ready to retrograde at the beginning of Virgo back into Leo. So everything in this pre-shadow period that Venus and Mercury are going through are reflections and processing of your brain that you're going to return to. You're going to be aware of during Leo season, and this information is going to come back to you so that you could reevaluate everything you're processing now. The best way to look at this Leo energy right now while the sun is in Cancer is you're behind the curtain of the stage, which is another way to look at the water signs. If you think about the curtain between the physical realm and the non-material realm or the other world or the spiritual realm, with which it's only your feelings, your emotions, the psychic principle and faculty of emotions, right, that tap you in to these realms through your imagination, and not in like some way that has to even be mystical, but just the property of your own body, okay, or your intuition. So you're behind the curtain, and this is the sound check. Is this mic on? Because when Leo season comes in, you're going to go past the curtain and you're going to start performing, right? This is social integration. Leo is the first of 4 social signs, and this is when you're going to really be performing. So before then, you're projecting your ideas with this confidence behind the veil, right? Behind the curtain. And who's the audience? This hating ass Pluto and Aquarius crowd. Now, we must have gotten a hot potato or something, because Pluto to Taur Aquarius only happens every 248 years. Okay. So I don't know if maybe this is a stroke of luck or bad luck, but we're happening to enter what I like to call the star killer era. You know, this is an era in history where, whether due to the previous cycles, lack of integrity or corruption or whatnot, not everyone feels represented. You know what I'm saying? And when we go back to Pluto Leo, if we go back to Pluto in Leo, which I think happened in like the 50s and the 60s, the 50s and like the late 40s. This was when the whole culture of rolling out the red carpet was kind of like originated. It didn't start in America in this context. So the whole nature of like performance and people being regaled with attention, I think has happened even past the Greco-Romans, even in the BC era. But let's keep it contemporary, because the last time this happened, they rolled out the red carpet. And now that Pluto's in Aquarius, people are fed up with that shit. People are anti-celebrity. That alone is not enough to make that conclusion, but it'll definitely bring a lot of context to why, ironically, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, Marie Antoinette was mistaken to have said, "Let them eat cake," right? And now Pluto is back in Aquarius, and a celebrity was joking, saying, "Let them eat cake." And a lot of people were like, "Unfollow these bitches. These motherfuckers think they even cool because they select." So people are waking up. Like this is very opportune if you want a revolution, or inopportune if you are, really at heart a performer who doesn't allow the crowd to manipulate what you're saying. Pluto and Aquarius, this could be both simultaneously positive and negative. Negative in a sense of psychic attack, where now Leo seasons opposite Pluto are tinged with this extreme audience that's beyond critical at this point. They're trying to kill you. All right. And we had a taste of this 2021 and 2022 when Kronos was here. The last time Kronos was there was the last population control period. 1992, 1991, and look, 30 years later it was back. And so popular stage performers were locked up, thrown in prison, killed. You know what I'm saying? It represents archetypally the notion of being out social. If you think Pop Smoke, right, was killed at home as a Cancer son of home, and Young Dolph was killed outside socially as the Leo social king. So it's representing that precedent of more danger, especially in light of war, when it comes to this regal expression relative to who you are, the whole act of socialization. And Pluto in Aquarius now brings themes of more terrorism, more cyber hacking, more shootings as a, response to prepare to adjust. If you think that the last Pluto cycle, every revolution happened modern to man against monarchies. And maybe a version of this is happening again. But all I'm saying this for is if you're feeling, like Saturn there was like Simon Cowell, Paula Abdul, you know what I'm saying? Those three, just judging you, just like this is trash. And it might be your best performance too. And it's not all bad. Like in integrity, it helps you master yourself. But out of integrity, it's brutal and it's ruthless. And it's helped you build strength. If you're a Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 2021, 2022. Now Virgo's going through this, which is also a representation of real society, right? But with that being said, versus the collective belief and narrative, and now there being more of a culture war than ever. But yeah, I just wanted to say that first, because this is what's going to make this Venus transit compared to other Venus transits in 248 years, so much more intense. So much more intense. Okay. And what I learned about these instances is it's integrity and karma. So I'm not blaming anyone for anything, but like leveraging the balance of one's notoriety versus the actions they took. In both of their cases, they were facing evil. And in both of their cases, their locations were leaked, right? And that was what was kind of turned around. So this is why, when you have these oppositions, the way you move is paramount. If people knew that when Saturn, the devil, the Satan, the accuser, or in integrity, the godly force, the universal power is opposite you, the judger, the tester, this has you move like so much more different. But it's a really good question because obviously not every Cancer and not every Leo got killed, but there was an element of this opposition that was all experienced. Or shit, some of you did the killing. But with that being said, once again, I want to start this transit talk really highlighting this 180-degree opposition. This is where it is now as of recording. This is what's happening right now while the moon is in Libra. And once again, this is very significant to bring to mind, because now there's so much more extremeness to your performances. Let's put this in the context of performance artistry. Imagine going out in an age where now when you perform, there's a more realistic possibility of more fights breaking out, someone getting shot, you getting shot, a terrorist using your concert to spread a message of terror. You know what I mean? So it's like, it counts more to be a performer in this next 20-year era. If you're a performer in this era, you're with the shits, because you will not have the comfort of security anymore. And this now represents all of the performer within us that speaks heartfelt against corruption, against what's not just and righteous. All right. If we want to talk about Leo in its purest form, the negative form of it is narcissism, disorder, right? Personality disorder. But the positive part of it is righteousness. The righteousness, Leo and Libra are the two heroes in that masculine polarity. Leo being the courageous hero that steps up, and Libra being the activist that speaks for the people, right? That's that kind of versus the opposite in its negativity, but you need all of them to kind of harvest and integrate. So this Pluto opposition is the 180-degree harvest of the awakening of a lifetime. Why do I say it's the awakening of a lifetime? Well, because it is. Unless maybe you're a vampire or you're someone who reincarnates and keeps their awareness and memory, which would still count for you because you're doing it through different lifetimes. But with that being said, let's go back to 6 months where, of course, we had Pluto conjuncting Venus and Mars. So by this point, right? No, that's not right. So at this point, we've had, you ready? Mercury, Mars, and Venus. This is one of the most iconic months we had this year. And go back and look at what was happening this year because it's long since integrated past May, and we're getting ready to harvest it. When I'm saying pivot, August is going to be a monumental area of simultaneous integration and harvest. This period is so important because we had Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Venus establishing once in a lifetime cycles that we're going to repeat over the next 20 years. This ride is happening from 2024 to 2044. Okay. And to consider that it's happening while the world is literally ending, Saturn, world, Pisces ending, right? This is letting you know that this is fully sponsoring this next era where Saturn is going to go into Aries, New World Order, and then Uranus is going to go into Gemini. And our technology is going to be really talking to us. And we're going to be talking in. We don't need to press buttons anymore. All right. New levels, new devils. So like it's, first of all, congratulations for being here. 2008 to 2023 was the first level of this elite Hunger Games. I'm not joking. Millions of people died. That didn't have to die too, because of the consequences of a corrupt system. And we're not even going to get into any gates and trafficking, right? But you've made it to the next level of Hunger Games, all right? There's different stages of this next level, but know that 2044 is going to bring the final level. 2044 to like 2060 something is the final level of this Hunger Games. And it's going to be very paranormal. If anything, it's through this level that we can break free of that. And I don't want to really stage it to where we're victims of anything. This Hunger Games is happening because a collective humanity awakening is the biggest threat to corrupt officials and elites and dark forces who, wish to take advantage of ill-informed populace. All right. But you can't really stop what's meant to happen. And this critical mass has already been reached. And more people have been awakened than were never supposed to, right? And this is where moving forward, you're going to start noticing it a lot more. A lot of things that have been culturally norm, not really. And that's what brings us to Venus, because Venus is going to influence once she goes through her social tour. She's getting ready to go home in Libra. All right. Venus has 2 domiciles of rulership, Taurus and Libra. Taurus is like her $12 million pad. That when she don't feel like fucking with anybody and she's just going to live lavishly with all of her beauty products that she put everyone, that's her Taurus home. This is the goddess of beauty. She has a Taurus home and a Libra home. This is who we dealing with. So when she's in Libra, that's when she's walking down the red carpet. She's doing her media tour. She's selling her products, and you're going to buy them. You're going to buy them. She put the polish on it. The persuasion is on lock. Okay, it's because of Venus. People desire everything and fall in love and shit. All right, she puts her magic on it. So it's up. It's a wrap. All right, it's boom. And Venus's rulership of Libra has so much more to do with war than Mars in Aries. That's one thing about Venus and Venusian principles that so many people don't understand. Most wars, Mars, are fought over Venus. And so if you think about these current conflicts, they're going to be fought over resources, valuables, right? Amongst other, Venusian themed things. And it's not as limited to that. So you really want to look at Venus's transit when it comes to war Venus and ruling this house and sign of negotiations, treaties, agreements is one of the biggest triggers of the god of war. Because if you can't come to a compromise and agreement, that's what's going to trigger war, right? So this is getting ready to integrate what you've activated this year, because you've just put on new clothes. You've just just only begun to level up who you are. And now it's time to take these new clothes outside. Get ready to perform it on stage. People are ready to be like, wow, you look nice. Mad people are going to be hating, knowing you look fresh, knowing you look on point. You put that on. You feel me? You feel me? I'm using all the lingo. You put that on. You feel me? And you know it's going to be intense. So this is entering you into a once-in-a-lifetime culture war, where everything you've activated about who you feel you are, you're representing in the height of very historic moments. And the biggest mistake that you will make is taking what everyone believes about it and moving forward with it. You're going to see people do that, and it's going to look like BLM again, where a group of people are getting exploited because of their race and used to funnel some campaign. Okay, none of that's a joke. So with that being said, this year it's good to just let everything happen and allow yourself, amidst new information, right? With Jupiter and Gemini and Saturn and Pisces, information is constantly going to be changing. Like the status quo of information is constantly, there's going to be so much new analysis at least 3 more times in a year. Once we step into Saturn and Aries, right? And we're now moving forward with a collective narrative. That's where we could begin to, put more pieces. I'm not telling you what to do though. And you may find that what works better for you is to move forward with whatever collective narrative is. But just keep that in mind. There's a lot of what we believe now that by September, in light of analysis, is going to completely change. And then by December, it's going to completely change again. And then we're going to have that final realization in March, do it all over again, 2025, as we move forward with it. Jupiter is going to be in Cancer. These are cardinal. So we're still whooping up a perspective. And relative to now Venus being here, many of you are going to be very shocked at how beautiful you truly are, especially if you've been in situations recently or near your whole life where positive attributes of who and what you are were constantly demonized, shamed, or out of jealousy, never really applauded. So you psychologically and subconsciously, even if you are aware of it, may not necessarily have felt or been able to recognize certain cues about how valuable what you have is. So you're going to showcase certain things that are getting ready to change people's lives and blow their fucking mind. And it may make you feel very uncomfortable, or you may have to get used to it, because now you're seeing at a more exaggerated quality an appreciation and acknowledgement of your value that you may have been deprived of, not looking for, but deprived of, in the sense where you're not being reflected in adequate assessment of what you're worth. Being around people, whether in their ignorance or evil, have seriously undermined your value. Once again, you consciously can agree that, I know my worth, but that psychological reinforcement, whether done manipulatively, some people play the silent treatment so that they will reinforce subconsciously that whatever you do gives them an uncomfortable reaction or something negative. The most evil people do this because they're weak, and so they don't have any real power, and your power might intimidate them. So they have to kind of resort to, very weak tactics like this. You know what I mean? But other than that, done collectively, certain beings may realize this only served to make you stronger, because the only type of being that this will really affect is a very weak being. And sometimes we go through phases when we are weak, but it only strengthens the power that has you walk through that. right? That's what's going to make this period once again very, very, very amazing. I'm not saying that people are going to start turning around with what they're doing and applauding you for everything you do, but there is a significant, especially with the Jupiter in Gemini sextile that we're going to have expansion moving forward. So as you can see, Venus on Pluto here, this is once in a lifetime. This is a once in a lifetime activation we're having over the next 20 years. Because once again, unless you're immortal, if you're like a vampire and you've been here for 500 years, then you might know what I'm talking about. If you're there, you're like, ooh, I seen this happen like 250 years ago. It's happening again. And shout out to whatever otherworldly beings is still here. I don't know if you possessing people's bodies or you really a vampire, you really immortal for real. Like, I know there has to be one of you. I don't know. But most of you, if not all of you, have not been alive for 200 years. You have not been alive for 300 years. You haven't been alive for 150 years. There's nobody who's like 100 here. I don't think I have people 102 watching me. All right. So you probably haven't even made it to 60 or 80. All right. So you've never experienced what you're about to experience. You've read about it in history books, and then the nuance of a period back then to now, which whether it's similar, it's still its own thing. This is once in a lifetime. This is once in a lifetime. Trust me. And so for you to actually be a part of this, and now once we look at Pluto Leo to Pluto Aquarius, what we're going to see generationally is a departure from social values and family values that were held very strongly before. This is where when Pluto goes through like Capricorn to Aqua, you have the older generations like, wow, you kids are just crazier. Like, you're not doing that. That happens, I want to say theoretically, every generation. There's no generation that a version of that doesn't really happen. And this is letting you know that we are seeing a natural progression of the completion of this Hades cycle. All right, throughout like the rest of this century, because Pluto's not going to leave Pisces until like the 2060s, like early 2070. So yeah. And I'm not even going to talk about that. If you make it to that part of Hunger Games, you're legit. You're legit. All right. The first part of Hunger Games was just an integrity check, just to see if people move right. This level of Hunger Games involves aliens, vampires, and zombies. Comment, I'm ready if you ready. Okay. Because so many people are not ready. So many people are still clinging on to this romanticization of a past that they'll never, ever get again. Ever. Like, it's over. So that doesn't mean they can't take what's good from it and preserve that integrity. But I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're ready. Like, this is getting ready to just completely just exponentially evolve the fuckery in ways we've never seen or imagined why would even be possible. And if you're not ready for something like that, there's going to be a spike in so much self-harm and addictions and so much, versus those of you who are ready. Like, you've been trained for this the past decade. You are already seeing signs of it slowly increment, and you are doing extra training in the back. God is ready to use you as the front soldiers. And when I say front soldiers, I'm actually referencing Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune in Aries. That's post 2025. By the way, if you were born 96, 97, 98, 94, 93, you're having your Saturn return. You count too. But if you were born 96, 97, 98, you don't even have a choice. You are literally put here on this earth to be the front runners of the new era. You are the sparkers of the concepts. What you guys are going to do with Pluto Sagittarius is you're going to take actions and come of age during your Saturn return that will have you mark movements in culture down the generations that spark new concepts that make you different from the past millennium, century. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like, there's truth to this. The last time this happened was, of course, 95, but before 95 it was 71, and they're like turning in their 50s. They're done. You're next up. Oh my god, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. They're done. They're part of the whole generation. You guys are creating the new world. My bad. I didn't mean to throw shade. Shout out to the way showers. All right, that's when Pokemon. No, that was the 90s. But like, still, it is what it is. So with that being said, okay, this is so very important because what are we awakening here? What is this once in a lifetime activation? You may not believe me, but supernatural power. Pause for dramatic effect. I mean, supernatural power doesn't just awaken out of nowhere. What if maybe incrementally through the generations, through 2008 with Pluto Cap, 1995 with Pluto Sag, 1983 with Pluto Scorpio, through DNA and through evolution of consciousness, we've finally reached this peak moment where collectively, everywhere, this is awakening. That's why if you are born after 1995 with Pluto and Sagittarius, you were put on this earth to awaken revolution around the world. You were put on this earth to awaken the supernatural throughout the entire collective. We call and classify you the God Slayers because you come around once in a generation and lifetime and you massacre every religious belief and theoretical model in pursuit of innovation towards that era. The last two Pluto Aquariuses was Protestantism versus Catholicism. If you want, like, you know what I'm saying, versus, the revolution, the last time Pluto was there. So for those of you who have children, for those of you who are Gen X or millennials or even the boom booms, right? I will never say that again. I promise. This represents you as way showers. The way you're raising these kids is going to really determine the fate of the rest of the world. But you can say that about any generation, right? So with that being said, this awakening here, and if you're having kids who have this, Jesus Christ. I don't know why you'd want an alien baby, but hey, congrats, you have an alien baby. So this is now the first quality of seeds that as we step over the next 20 years, we're going to be awakening this at higher qualities because this is the awakening of your mind. You're awakening the force. So the sun is activating our conscious awareness of it. Mercury is activating our brain processing at a supernatural level. And Mars and Venus are putting our heart and our private parts at this level. That was the whole personal squad. Saturn started its cycle with it in Capricorn. So it's by the time it comes back around, Pluto's going to be in Pisces. We're going to have the Saturn opposition in Leo to Pluto Aqua, then the Saturn conjunction in Pisces with Pluto, which is a very interesting dance. Pluto and Saturn have the dopest dance. If you would just study those cycles, which I will make documentaries based on those cycles, you'll cover a lot. So with that being said, okay, how many times have I said with that being said? Because I think I've hit the limit. But with that, okay, no, this awakening supernaturally is the energy, right? Power generates energy. Energy produces an effect. So this supernatural energy we're awakening is a consequence of everything that you did 2008 to 2023. That is what is now collectively sponsoring this awakening. The crumbling of false structures in pursuit to get ready to awaken, insert whatever that means. All right. But what Capricorn will represent is universal power, collective power. Collective power, and it can represent itself as a dictatorship that rules everybody, or a democratic representative of a group of people who represent thousands of people. That's the collective power that makes the decisions for a collective, for a nation. So now that that's awakened, now the people are awakening. I'm sorry, it's about to be crazy. If you thought the last decade was crazy, that was a sneak peek for the rest of the. Oh my God, I'm sorry. So yeah, the best way I could say is you're awakening the supernatural. We are that generation. And that's not a good thing, because awakening the supernatural is objective in the sense that your capacity to harness supernatural and energy and cosmic awareness and expand your capability beyond what is natural is going to happen whether this exists outside of your moral concept of good or bad. So you're going to see bad people awakening power, good people awakening power. It's an outpouring of spirit. All right. And this is what's accounting for the clear telepathic connection between you and the cosmos and everything in between, which didn't come out of nowhere. You were building these neural pathways throughout the past few decades, because Sagittarius 95, some of you know what I mean, like, especially if you're born after it, then you're born prepackaged with it in your DNA. But this is, at this year, a new concept of this, as we're wrapping up with Saturn and Pisces old concepts, and we're manifesting this strength in our body, the arc. Okay. That being said, once we step forward 2025, 2026, the best way I can kind of explain this to you is the difference between this year and the rest of this decade. It's going to literally feel like you just awoke supernatural powers that maybe before were like subtle psychic powers. This is going to apply to you if the past decade you've exhibited any form of psychic potential or superpower or supernatural energy. And that doesn't have to be sci-fi for you. It could just represent maybe recovering from illnesses quicker, waking up effortlessly. You know what I mean? You're getting ready to now see the crystallization and intensification of this towards the supernatural. This was just the effect of what was growing within you, and your body awakened. Now we're awakening our mind, which is going to bring cognizance to processes beyond our critical and physical brain's ability to process. But you have a spirit. So this is what's going to really now, innovate greater awareness of all these things. And while this may not be the first Pluto Aqua transit, this is a critical mass we're reaching here, especially with Neptune in PCs. All right. So as this pertains to your heart, this year is like waking it up for the first time. 2025 and 2026 is moving forward with newly awakened potential, being aware that, oh my gosh, I have supernatural abilities, right? And you're getting ready with other people coming to this realization to go to war, but also to make a greater world, right? And then 2027 and the rest of the decade, you're settling into this new era of yourself. So the reason why I make that distinction is this year, coming from not even knowing you have this potential to being snapped awake with this, right? This is what's going to make this very shocking. Now, let me put context to this. 3 months from this activation, we manifested the belief of this in Pisces with the contract of Kronos activation. Then we activated its alignment with our personal mission, challenging us to be authentic and who we are. And then those seeds we planted with Pluto. So we planted seeds in Pluto. We planted seeds with Saturn and Neptune. We planted seeds with the North Node. And then we planted seeds with Uranus, while the seeds we planted with Pluto began to integrate and come off ground. So the Uranian element is what harnessed this shocking element. Uranus and Taurus, not only representing cryptocurrency, I would like to think, in a sense, represents your auto nervous system. This is your 5 physical senses. So there's a quality of your auto nervous system that is grounding supernatural energy that is going to be entirely subconscious to you. Saturn represents the material universe. So Uranus is causal and Neptune is astral. So there's been updates with Jupiter evolving your natural senses in your body. Look at Jupiter here, Sun, Venus. Like, this was crazy. This was a powerful magic, Jack and the Magic Beanstalk activation where your body, for the first time in a lifetime, began integrating awakened collective supernatural energy in your body. And that's what brings us to today. Because when Venus was in Gemini, the seeds you planted in Saturn and Neptune began to grow through your mindset. The belief of this supernatural that you started seeing synchronicities crazy began to now fully synchronize and integrate a mindset that supports these beliefs. Magic. Then through Cancer, right? Of course, the seeds you planted with the nodes grew through the ground. And that's why now it in Leo is getting ready to harvest this initial activation. And that's what's going to make the rest of the year very wild, because we're getting ready to see the full potential of this activation come through. We don't normally have a sequence of activations like this. Some of them are usually spread out. So with a sequence like this, we're activating, and it's growing through the ground. And then when it starts to harvest, starting now, boom, 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 boom. And because this is the first year that you're coming into this awakening of this, it's going to hit crazy. And a lot of that craziness is the seeds we planted with Uranus and Jupiter. They're getting ready to now break through the ground this Leo season when we square, and Virgo season with the square to Jupiter. And that's what's going to be like you activated practicing on stage. And this doesn't hit until you're on stage, right? Imagine if you give the most supernatural performance of your life to date and magic stuff started happening because of what you were doing. And now, right? Before, maybe you had not done that before, but the months before that, you activated new precedents. Like, I'm going to do this. So you're going on stage confident, but now you're experiencing, whoa, I'm so much more skilled and stronger than I ever thought possible. That's what you're getting ready to experience over the rest of the summer. And then fall is going to fully harvest and like complete this. And this is what's going to prepare you for next year, where you step into the new world order and you know more than ever what time it is and what all of this is really about. Like, there's so much that the world collectively is being presented about what this is all about, that it's not all about this. And now the people on this planet collectively are going to awaken to this truth together. And it's not going to be through conspiracy theories shared on the internet, but the internet is going to be a huge catalyst for what people are going to get ready to be talking. What are we considering at this stage? What we're considering at this stage is you, for the first time ever in your life, harvesting supernatural power. So the 1 degree opposition to Venus is iconic, just like with Mercury, because now your brain and your heart, later your private parts, your desire, when Mars goes through here, but now your brain and your heart, and soon to be your consciousness, have just begun to harvest over the next 3 months supernatural energy. If you've seen Star Wars, the Force. For many of you, Ki, life force, Reiki, universal energy. Capricorn represents universal power, everything that's physical in the material universe. Aquarius represents universal energy. The frequencies, vibrations, energies, all collectively, that's that supernatural, right? So you've awakened your body. This is you awakening your mind, getting ready to integrate at a greater level how you integrate this socially with other people. And this is going to open up this arc where now you're finding people you can trust and you're showing each other what powers you have. And that just sounds very shonen. So let me be careful with how I say this. But you see this 180 degree opposition? This is very important, because in another 20 days after the second full moon, where we start to literally use these new psychic powers, it's coming in less than a week. We're going to be aware of what has awakened in our ability to process in heart. We're not aware of it yet. Right now, we're integrating how it feels. Right now, you're integrating how it feels. And then you're going to be fully aware on stage what it is. All right. Right. Battle of the Minds. So this is unprecedented. It's once in a lifetime. The moon is on the south node right now, having you understand what you're unlocking. You've activated this power. Now you're unlocking its integration and how you interpersonally express it. Okay. So that's the most important part. Boom. All right. Now that your heart awakening showtime, this is going to immediately enhance your manifestation skill and ability and create more and prepare to create more of an unconscious competence towards leading with your courage and passion. As now you have finished the individuation process, Mercury and Venus once a year through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. And now we're beginning the social process. Welcome once again to Venus and Leo 2024 Transit Talk. The 4 individual signs, I, me, myself, I, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. They range from 0 to 2 to 12 years old. A 0 to 12-year-old only cares about their fucking self. Then we have the socials, right? 12 years old, stemming to 44 years old. This is teenage years to middle adulthood. And this is where we start to gain our identity outside of our home and parents, because we're going to school and we're developing a trade through Virgo, and then we're getting married in Libra, and then we're having a midlife crisis through Scorpio. We become reborn or evil. So with that being said, if you were evil before, with that being said, oh my God, I said it twice. With this information here, it's very important to understand the dynamic of Leo as the first social sign and Scorpio as the last social sign. Just like Aries is the first individual and Cancer is the last, and Sagittarius is the first God sign and Pisces is the last. The order of elements, right? I wake up in the morning in Aries and say, I am, and that sets your whole day. And then before I leave the house, I take a shower in Cancer. Now I'm stunned. I just left the house. I'm fresh. I'm fly. All right. Roar. Leo. Leo represents daytime sex or going out in the day, logistics through Virgo, performance in Libra. And then Scorpio represents sex, nighttime. That's the social axis. We go out in Leo and then we club in the nightlife, Scorpio, and have sex. All right. And I have to say we because it's social. All right. Scorpio is opposite what? Taurus, of money. So you have to pay to have sex. Two people pay time. 2 people offer each other something, and through Libra, they agree we're doing it or not. Scorpio sex. All right. That's just the sweet math and science. All right. So we don't have to apply this to just physical intercourse, but this is where you're expressing your heart. You are expressing your individuality, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Leo, through integrating it socially. And Leo's where we go on stage. You are defining your talent, updated relative to this year. And what are we going to do in Virgo? We're going to practice, and practice, like fellow Virgo Kobe Bryant in the gym. All right. And this time, there's a lot of haters who are doubting your beliefs. So it's just going to be so much doper through this montage scene to prove them all wrong with the I told you so tour. It's going to fucking terrify them to no end. Okay. Because last year when you presented the receipts, certain people couldn't process it. Like you ever show someone receipts and they don't even know the depth of what you proved to them. So it's just like, okay, whatever. Right. And they just kind of deflected it. Now you're going to come back with even deeper receipts and they're going to be terrified because now you're completely destroying their beliefs. And this may happen to you. Anyone who shows receipts to you, it's going to liberate you. It's going to set you free from false beliefs. All right. So with that being said, oh my God, I said it again. This opposition marks the preparation of your conscious awareness to come through the first boss battle. The previous boss battles that we had were in Cancer and Capricorn. This boss battle with Aquarius features aliens. Okay. So the invasion is not above, it's within. There's a lot of alien hybrids amongst you right now. There's a lot of possessed vampire demon hybrids amongst you right now. So now, whereas it was more subtle before on a psychic subliminal level, now it's going to be in your face. Now you're going to be performing and you're going to be like, that person's possessed by a demon. That person's an assassin sent to kill me. That person's a whole evil alien. And I know that's very misleading to say, but this is going to be so nuanced. It'll be very clear. All right. And you have activated supernatural abilities to fend through this. This war we're fighting is for you to just maintain authenticity. You don't have to now you can take a crossbow out. You can get a battery charge. All you have to do is be you and succeed at being you. This is going to be the greatest. It's not even about revenge. It's going to be true justice here. And you are supported very, very, very much. So this 1 degree opposition is very important. Mars is going to follow later, right? We have our conscious awareness. So we've made it through this field, this outer planet God field. Okay. Mercury is already advancing how much more courage you can speak with an expanded vocabulary. And that's what marks Venus's first decan of the sun, shining and emboldening your heart courageously to freely declare what you love and why you love it. This is all happening while the moon is getting ready to be full. And that's where we step into the second decan. So let's break that down a bit. Right now, the moon is activating this activation of new psychic powers that with Neptune at the end of Pisces, your imagination has fully wrapped all the possibilities relative to this cycle. So there's not too much more to learn outside of gaining real experience. And this transit is getting you ready to harvest the full utilization of these new psychic powers. So while Venus is mic checking with Mercury on stage, you are putting that shit on and wearing it on your sleeve and chest. The sun will go into Leo. You're going to be increasingly aware of this process. As you can see, the sun will be 28 degrees. So Venus is polishing the stage ahead of you, getting ready to debut, and Mercury is getting your mind around everything you're ready to declare before we gain some facts in Virgo, and then we reevaluate how much courage you want to put behind now that we have more factual information. So this first decan is going to embolden you over the next week, but it's important to understand that this is happening as the moon is getting ready to be full. Okay. Shout out to Cancers and Cancer season. So we are getting ready to complete this Cancer cycle, which represents the fullness of this updated level of emotional maturity that you're going to bring with you outside. All right. This is going to prepare for the sun consciousness opposition awakening, 0 degrees. And it's important to note that Mars is getting ready to go through its final activation of the year. All right. That will simultaneously also begin to integrate the contract it had with Saturn. All right. So Mars trine here to Pluto is definitely going to mark more magic ever in the actions you take and how you take these evolving mindsets and apply it to everything you do and how you think about what you do. Mind you, this supernaturally awakened too. So it's linking your mind with your actions. All right. And with Venus emboldening your heart and the courage of how you express your individuality, this second decan is getting ready to now, with the sub-rulership of Jupiter, expand so powerfully what you've established. So moving forward, the first part of this is finishing the activation and integration of new psychic powers. Then when we're getting ready to use it, we're going to expand what we have impassioned in our hearts. This is where, with these social aspects, whether you're by yourself or with other people, you want to socialize. This can look like going out, being invited, inviting. It doesn't have to look like extroversion, though. Anything that allows your heart to explore and express its creativity is going to be a very good plus during this period, so that you can assess, with the trine to the North Node, the full expression of everything Cancer season integrated in your destiny and personal mission. Mercury trining Chiron is having you overcome certain ego vulnerabilities with the freedom of expressing it, the courage of expressing it. And this is what's going to make things a tinge more faded. But this is a very important part, because as we are now harvesting these new psychic powers by using them, Mars is getting ready to change the way you actually take action for the next 20 years. And war is probably going to heat up. Like, this is where war might kind of go crazy. It's going to expand and level up the way you take action. Remember, Mars was retrograde in Gemini 2022. So this is going to be a whole different ballgame. All right, so let's talk about that. Moon's going to go in Aquarius. You're going to know these new psychic powers you're utilizing, just like the beginning of the season. Boom, boss battle. So now we're coming into a conscious harvest of your awareness of the force from Leo to Scorpio season. That's going to awaken this in the form of, are you ready? Super strength. So right now, you're charging a super strengthened facet of your heart and brain that you've done every year, but not at a supernatural level. And you're getting ready to be aware of this by the time we step into July 23rd. That's what everything. So knowing that every single day up until then, you are intensifying at a higher level of integrating how this all feels, because that's what you're going to present and perform. All right. And this is going to be with the sun at will. And with the moon in Aquarius, this is going to help you know so much of what you're doing and what's happening. This is going to now, of course, prepare to transform your beliefs of what you're aware of on stage. We see Mars sextiling the sun. So this is going to get ready to push you forward very extravagantly. Be very interesting to see what's happening in the world during this time. Now, we want to talk about Venus and Jupiter. As we come into the 24th, or really, the 22nd and the 23rd, this 12-degree sextile here, while the moon is reawakening your understanding of this supernatural quality, right? This is having you boost what you initially evolved. Remember this, we want to look at Venus transits to Jupiter and Uranus, because we had Venus started to Jupiter cycle at the very end of chapter 2. So imagine at the very end of chapter 2 in this book, you manifest something invaluable. It's the beginning seed that you seeded, a very major investment that captures the full meaning of what you're worth, right? We manifested the idea of this in Gemini, and now we pushed it forward. We manifested the idea of this in Gemini and felt it through Cancer is what I meant. And now this is the open doorway to beginning to express what the quality of this evolution of your heart is. So after the full moon, this is like playing Mario Kart and going through a zoof boost. There's going to be so much of I just want to say magnanimity. The evolution of your mindset is going to, with more words, you know what to say, it's going to strengthen your confidence. You're going to sound so much more assured. And this is going to bring luck and abundance in your dealings with people interpersonally, especially if you shoot in your shot or you're engaging romantically or sexually or making money. All right. So keep that in mind, because this is going to mark a super strengthened quality of confidence relative to this level up at a supernatural level, that you will be understanding the knowledge of what's happening. I just wanted to make that clear. That's the second decan. As Jupiter is expanding this, we're having a Jupiter sextile with the sub-rulership of Jupiter. So this is very evolutionary, if that's the right way to say it. Then we're going to have the third and final decade. We want to not forget the Saturn integration, because once we come into Virgo, we're going to analyze a sense of causality that will bring us amazing receipts. We're going to take newly activated magical and psychic abilities and powers and master them so that we can present them in Libra and tell people, I fucking told you so. I told you so. Okay, so this Saturn integration is taking the integrity of your beliefs and it's integrating it with the courage and passion that you can stand on. How creatively do you socially integrate your beliefs in the expression and performance of them? And this is going to begin to really influence this heartfelt behavior. So that's what sets up the third decan, which is going to take this sub-rulership of Mars to a direct level as you are now fully and assertively expressing this glory at a heart level. All right. So we do have the Chiron trine that's going to have you talk more shit than you've ever talked in your life. And then we're going to have, I think, the most important transit off the heels of the new moon coming to there, the sextile, guys. This sextile during the balsamic phase is going to be crucial because we have Mars on Jupiter getting ready to conjunct. And this is going to be now relative to where we had Venus with Jupiter on Uranus, more unconventional, supernatural harnessing of energy through your physical five senses. This is once in a lifetime. We don't have alignments like this really ever. So that's what's going to really add this element of you being in a position to very realistically kind of tap in to this nature. Okay, nice. To this nature of maintaining unconventionality and eccentricity, but still being able to make it fly. I'm just going to be honest, like making it not look weird as fuck, but actually like balancing both. Because you don't want to not be eccentric and then just be bland like everyone else, but you don't want to be too eccentric to where you're making everyone cringe. That means this is going to be very cringy because you're getting ready to integrate the balance of this. Once it's in Scorpio, it'll be smooth and psychologically manipulative like Scorpio. So it's going to be dope. But in Leo, this is you breaking through this element of performance. So be okay with this being stupid cringy. And that could be what you embrace, and you could kill what cringes you. But like, yes. So we're coming into more conscious awareness of this. And that's how we wrap up the Venus transit. We're going to have the Neptune sextile that is going to be the final point before causality takes on a whole different meaning to you. This is retrograding. So this is now just integrating your heart in alignment towards, of course, the final imagination. I'm going to call this the final fantasy. All right. And your capacity to actually integrate your heart's creativity with your imagination. Then Mercury stations, it goes retrograde. We have the moon with Venus, and then Mercury now gives a note to Venus as Venus makes everything you've charged in your heart realer than ever. The end. Or rather, to be continued. Beautiful. So, for those of you who would like a 15-minute report of how this applies in your chart, I do have 15 spots of this available. And the first 10 of you to use the discount code Venus will get this, of course, half off. All right. Now, if you get a tarot report, and in that tarot card report, you put in the code tarot. If you put the code tarot, you will get 30% off of this reading. And that applies for the first 20 people to use the discount. If in the notes you type in Venus, I will theme that reading around romance, money, and what the Venus and Leo will kind of apply for you there as well. All right. Or how this Venus and Leo period will kind of play out for you. All right. Whatever you want to move forward with. That being said, for the final time, For those of you, Venus in Leo is going to really align with your heart, courage that maybe you didn't know you had, and will very, very amazingly and powerfully get ready to encourage you to continue development of all this and to begin to show you how talented you are and express newly activated abilities. Okay. So for those of you who would like a live read, you can join the queue. I'm going to start with Carrie right now. And Carrie, this is actually pretty amazing because Venus is your 5th house of romance. And you let me know that you're seeing somebody right now. You seeing the seer. All right. Carrie's seeing a Sag right now. And Sag loves Aries. I'm not going to put your business out there, but I will say that much. Sag loves Aries. So y'all, I'm very excited about that. I think it's cool that this is happening while Venus is trining your sun. So this is going to have you tap into your creativity. This is why the 5th house is a house of romance. But in your 2nd house, it's going to have you enjoy everything you love about what you're worth and how creative you are about what you're worth. And Sagittarius is going to catch that fire and complete that cycle for you. All right. Instead of the opposite, detached, insensitive, and just unemotional Gemini that isn't going to get, you know what I'm saying, like passionate about stuff, you know, or slow. Sagittarius is going to be quick. They're going to be fast. Can you imagine, y'all? Can you imagine, y'all, if someone was like, hey, I'm seeing your op now. Yeah, you know, you're not trying to do shit. I'm seeing your op now. That is classic. And you are the best. All right. But I think this is going to bring in a lot of money too, because you activated the North Nodal success chapter in April, and coming into the next couple of months, Saturn here will establish authority, but Jupiter and the North Node have stepped you into the direction of where you're taking this new aspect of your career. And this is the first time with Mercury, Venus, and the Sun, you're manifesting and liquidating it through Cancer. So I think, and keep me posted, but I do believe that this is going to have you come into a lot more wealth and prepare to really kind of, especially in real estate, and build on that value. Now, we also have to talk about how this will be, you know, squaring Uranus in your 11th. So this is going to influence unconventional connections with existing friends and new friends, and more so how it is you're going to really align what they find valuable about this and how you stand on your value in the face of outside influences. But really, money and love, because this is going to be 5th house from your sun. But in your 2nd house, it's money. But 5th house from your sun, this is going to become very fun, especially once the sun goes into Leo. Then you get to be aware and play more with that. All right, as Mercury will now reevaluate and retrograde into your attitude about all this and your attitude about your lifestyle and your behavior. All right, that will go into the value of your own creativity. All right, so fire signs is beefing. Fire signs, stay beefing in the chat. And I hate to instigate, but y'all have the best beefs ever. Y'all stay having the best beefs. All right, Amy. I feel like a petty instigator. Amy, let's go. Lady Amy, we know that you actually have your rising in Aries. So similar to Carrie, you're also going to be stimulating your creativity. The only difference is your sun is in Sagittarius. So Carrie's awareness is going to be more creative, and your awareness of this is going to be highly philosophical. The passion and love that goes into what you believe and how in the 5th house you're creative with it. So this is going to really have you integrate your philosophy around your talents as you will be expressing your talents. And your Sag Sun is going to look at that and you're going to move forward with a new cycle of this is what I believe about it now. And the coolest thing about this is your rising's in Aries. So it's progressed past there, but the North Node and Chiron are still activating by destiny. You're being chosen by destiny right now to challenge yourself and others to maintain this authenticity as the original. And you're the ninth house sun goddess. That's what that means, by the way. Ninth house sun with Neptune. We've talked about your chart. Your chart is nuts. Her chart is legit, y'all. She's like, oh my goodness. So like having this goddess nature of awareness gives you, unlike other Aries risings, so much more perspective about who you are. And that's where this Leo season is going to have you creatively express the talent of that, which is just such a full circle moment. And this will definitely now express the value that's unconventionally manifesting with its square to Uranus. Other than that, we could talk about the opposition of Pluto and Aquarius, but this is going to really just kind of represent your unconventional value in the second, and in the fifth with Venus and the Sun and Mercury, how you perform your talent with Pluto and Aquarius breaking through and awakening your friends. All right. And that's another way to look at this. Like Leo is your performance, and Pluto and Aquarius is how this is going to be awakening people in mass. And that could trigger people to hate you and or love you obsessively. All right. So that's what makes it count more to perform in a period like this, where you have to be with this shit. Like you have to be about it or you're going to get killed. All right. But you are about it. So nobody is touching you. Type in the chat, I'm untouchable and I'm invincible. Shout out to Maji got the tea. I've been watching a lot of her videos. So if you see me use her mannerisms, I'm not trying to bite her style. But like, yeah, shout out to her. I'm trying to reach out to her for a peace talk. But yeah, check that channel out if you haven't. You guys stay blessed as always. Oh, no, Jessica, I got you. So, Jessica, we know that you got the Cancer rising in Moon. And similar to Amy, you also are what I like to call the dream goddesses. Oh no, you have Neptune in Cap, but still you have Uranus in Sag as well. But similar to Amy, this is going to speak on you also being aware of how this Leo energy will charge much more strength behind what you believe, and how the expression of this creativity strengthens what you believe philosophically. Now, because your rising's in Cancer, whereas this is going to happen in Amy's house of creative talent, this is going to happen in your house of money. So this is going to affect more your self-esteem and how much more valuable you are. Click the description box below if you'd like to join the queue. And it's cool because given that Uranus is making a full-on quincunx in Taurus right now, you're able to really apply this unconventional integration in the community you're creating with the Mystics Corner, but also personally, and what wealth you sponsor, once again, unconventionally and supernaturally through this. This will also hit different for you because you have Jupiter in Aquarius. So the expansion of knowledge that comes into play whenever you deal with anyone that you bring to the table is going to offset how you're manifesting this heartfelt creativity with Venus, and how, this creativity you're monetizing, how you're able to take this performance and come into more money. But remember, in February, you conjuncted this natal Jupiter. So now this is also a harvest of this. That means like coming into January and February, there were actions you took. There were things established that you're going to come into huge money now. And it doesn't have to be in the form of money versus just value that you can convert into whatever. And you want to look back into May, because this is where that began to integrate relative to who you're connecting with, right? And now I think this is where you're getting ready to put this together. Oh my God. So yeah. Um I wanted to kind of factor in the Scorpio element too. It's just okay, yeah, you got Saturn and Sag. That's so gangster. You're such a gangster. So like, yeah, that's wild. So yeah, I think if you're Pluto Scorpio as well, for all of you, for all of us Pluto Scorpios, this is also going to have it's going to hit very intensely for you because everyone's going through this sense of attack or whatever, but it's like you're integrating a sense of wisdom that is going to move forward very mind-blowingly with that. Dreaming with Tess, I am just as confused as you. All right, like I'm trying not to get distracted by the chat. But I'm just like, oh, okay, this is fireside me. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop. Stop. That's crazy. Man, that's crazy. This is insane. I had no idea too. Tess, I had no idea too. So please don't confuse me. That's crazy too. Tess is like, why are you yelling at me? What are you saying fuck me for? What you saying fuck me for? The Aries trying to start shit. This is wild. I'm so okay. Oh, thank you for ordering the Venus and Leo transit, Anisha. Awesome. Okay. Right? I didn't even know. I must have shit. So yes, my bad, Jessica. So I definitely also want to factor in Saturn getting dangerously close to your MC. It's not going to get there yet, it's going to retrograde, but a lot of your divine philosophy as a priestess, which especially for the Cancer risings, like the Cancer rising upgrade is getting ready for you to move forward next year with the thaumaturgy. So if you're Cancer rising, if you have MC and Pisces, I want you to study thaumaturgy, the ministry of miracles. You're getting ready to incorporate that more as an authority. And that's where I feel like you're going to integrate more you manifesting elements of your belief through what you're putting the salsa on. So yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. You guys stay blessed as always. And as much as I like to enjoy Aries and Sagittarius beefing and one not knowing where the beef came from, I'm going to end this live talk right now. You guys stay blessed. Your heart is going to awaken over the next 20 years. And this is the first time of this 20-year cycle that you're going to begin to present this awakening. All right. Right. Like, right. All right. And that's so crazy because Venus and Leo is a very amazing period to mingle and date and to get out there. So you might come into this just by being yourself and not looking for it. All right. Especially in this alignment with destiny. You're going out with your new clothes. So you're going to look fly and people are going to notice the improvements you've had and, you know, draw some boundaries because this is going to make sure you're having fun. All right. You stay blessed.